Hi all, thank you so much for your flexibility and for being able to work with me. I'm so sorry that I'm not feeling well and I can't be there today, but I think that this will be a kind of a cool way for us to do some learning together. And this is always an interesting experiment to do some online discussion, so we'll see how it goes. Some people really like it because they actually all get an opportunity to share their thoughts. And so we'll get some feedback tomorrow on how that went. So today we're talking about geographic thinking. You did some great readings. If you haven't posted one of your comments or your questions yet from today's reading onto the discussion thread, I encourage you to do so before you start. And then I'm going to give you a few times to take a break throughout this presentation, and during those breaks just check back again. So the first thing that I want you to do, last week we did some stuff with with history, with people and the timeline. Today we're going to do something similar. So I want you to pause this PowerPoint and I want you to draw out the best map of the world that you can with as much detail as possible, but only give yourself about 5 minutes. So take the time to do that on a sheet of paper, and then make sure that you either take a picture of it or scan it in or whatever, and have that be a part of the assignment that you turn in for today, so that I can see kind of where you were at the beginning. So pause now and come back when you're done. Okay, so hopefully you had a very humbling experience with drawing your maps. Obviously, there are some reasons that we do the mental map experiment, mainly because even though most of us spent our childhoods memorizing states and capitals, it's still really hard for us to find place and space. And so geography, in terms of inquiry-based learning and social studies, answers these 3 questions. How do we orient ourselves in space? What places are special to people and why? And how does location influence us? And how do we influence location? And I think today we're specifically going to focus mostly on that final question. I think oftentimes when we do traditional geography or the traditional narrative of geography, we answer these 2 top questions, but in very simple terms. So we want to make sure, just like all of our other types of thinking with our different disciplines, that we don't need facts. This isn't a content class. We just want to make sure that we're able to apply our geographical thinking skills to solve individual and social problems. Okay, so if we think about how to integrate geography with other disciplines within the social studies, you can take a look here and find how I've combined them with a few different things. A lot of these examples have come from actually reading that we have done before. Something that I want us to get into a little bit today to get us thinking about maps is something that is going to show us how to integrate geography and political science. And I talked with a few of you about this concept, but I want you just to take a little bit to look over the next few slides. I'm not going to talk, so you can just pause and read what's going on each of the slides. There is one point where I'm going to ask you to pause and do an extension activity and then come back. Okay, so try not to peek and try to do this on a separate sheet of paper without looking at the future slides. So pause here, take a look, and see if you can redraw this map so it's fair. All right, welcome back. Should yours look like this? Does it look like this? Okay, so now pause again, and I want you to answer the question on this page by drawing something out or writing what it would look like. Okay. So I want you to consider these questions. They could be questions that you could talk about in the thread, just to consider. And then on this one, I'd like you on a piece of paper to write down which one you think that this state should adopt and why. Okay, so this is just kind of giving you some background on gerrymandering. And I was talking with one of you that gerrymandering has been in the news a lot in Texas right now. So down in the notes, you'll see that I want you to do a Google search of news surrounding the recent gerrymandering case in Texas. I just want you to tell me, just with a 5 to 10 minute search, what you learned and what your thoughts are on it, and what primary sources you came across to help you form your opinion, especially in regards to geography. So any maps or layouts that you saw that perhaps are helping you to form your thoughts. So you can do that and then pause this and then come back when you're done. Okay, so you just got done looking at Texas, and here's some information about Iowa. So I'm just going to again have you take a look, and I'm going to go through these slides. You can pause at each slide and just let me know and let your classmates know in the discussion thread kind of what you're thinking as you go through here. Okay, so this video I linked in to your email that I sent you, the announcement. So I want you to take a look at this video and answer the question on this slide. And you can put that into your assignment for today. So pause here and go into that video. All right, so here are some ideas as to how we can help kids do some cartoliteracy. And what I'd like you to do is create just a really small lesson. It can be just a really quick idea, something that you're thinking of now that we're working through some of this and you've done the reading for today. Part of your assignment for today, I'd like you to pause here and just write down just a really quick idea of a lesson plan, obviously guided by some type of essential or supporting question, and then also what standards you might hit. So you can head over and do that and then come back. Okay, so this is something that I did during the semester. You can use Google My Maps for a lot of different things. And so what we did in the Google form is filled out kind of like where we're from, and then we took that to do some analysis. What do we notice about where we're from? How could we use this data as a teacher education program? So I just want you to be thinking about and discussing in the thread how you could use Google Maps and Google My Maps as a teaching tool. Okay, I definitely talked about this with, I think, Amanda and Mariah, but when we think about master narratives and counter narratives in geography, it does exist. So go ahead and look at the video in this link about how many continents there are, and then I'd love to see some discussion about that in your thread. You don't have to do that as a part of your assignment, but I'd like to see you discussing that in your thread. Okay, a lot of your reading for today was about considering different ways to look at the world, and so one of them was the Peters projection map, and then I want you to be thinking about this question: what stands out to you when you look at the world from an atypical perspective? So here's another way of looking at the world. So think about what stands out to you right away, and just to be considering. Okay, this question, what should you think about while looking for good geographic resources? I've supplied for you some information from 2 different atlases that are kid-friendly and used in elementary schools right now. So I want you just to take a look really quick at these 2 different atlases, and as a part of your assignment, I'm going to have you write down which one of these atlases you would choose for your classroom if you had to, and why. So I'll show it to you, you can pause it, take a look, and then move on to the next one. Okay, so now that we've gone through our mental map drawings, what I want us to do for tomorrow, because you won't have seen each other's mental maps, but in the morning I want you to think about how we're going to quote-unquote evaluate each other's mental maps. And so I want you just to be thinking for tomorrow about how we may grade them, not formally, but just informally. So think about what people should have included in their maps in regards to placement, size, detail, what's there, what's missing, especially considering what we've learned about today. And here is the classic world map that many of you probably were trying to envision in your brains. Okay, here's the last 2 questions that I'd like you to answer in your assignment for today, and you are more than welcome to discuss in the thread as well. How do power inequality operate through maps, and how can we use maps to better understand power inequality? And these will be 2 questions that will lead our discussion starting tomorrow. So make sure you get those in, and then hopefully by 5:30 today I'll have your entry tickets ready for tomorrow. If you have any questions, I'll be available by email. Best of luck, and be sure your entry tickets get turned in on Blackboard, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.